Hey everybody, welcome back. Wayne here. I hope you're all staying healthy and safe. In the time that we live in on this planet, and speaking of time, we're going to talk a little bit today about, does time heal all wounds? You've heard that expression probably all of your life. So first I want to ask you, have you ever had a physical injury that took forever, it felt like forever to heal? Years ago, I had torn a labrum in my left shoulder from years of abuse and overuse. I even stopped working out and wouldn't lift weights, wouldn't lift anything over my head. And I did that for almost 3 years, mistakenly believing that if I carefully protected my shoulder, it would heal on its own. And ultimately, I learned that in my case, at least, that my plan wasn't working. Several orthopedic surgeons and a physical therapist and even a couple of chiropractors all agreed and kept saying, you're going to need surgery. Finally, I relented, and it took a surgeon almost 3 hours to put my shoulder back together and months of physical therapy and rehab. My shoulder is as good as new, and that was almost 17 years ago. I had to do the work and be willing to endure the pain, and only then did it begin to heal. And like that old saying, time heals all wounds, isn't necessarily true, especially when we're talking about healing after an affair. And infidelity is one of those situations where doing nothing seems to make things worse. I frequently ask couples that I've worked with for a while, and I'll say something like, in retrospect, what did you not know that you needed to know after the affair was disclosed or discovered? Most betrayed spouses will almost always say that they wish they had realized the affair was not about them. Often they'll say that if they had known this, it would have allowed them to focus on real issues rather than trying to change or to control their spouse's choices. They usually learn that if they didn't cause it, then they really have very little leverage or control over the outcome. When I ask what the least productive thing was that they do after discovery, they'll say it was something to do with their anger or their rage. Most betrayed women will tell me that their first response was try to make him hurt as badly as she was hurting. One client, even just last week, said, I gave myself permission to begin hitting him and throwing things because I just wanted to make him hurt like me. I could see myself and I couldn't stop myself. I wanted to punish him rather than exploring what I needed to do to help myself move forward. And for the unfaithful spouse, it's getting the truth out fairly quickly. That's what they tell me, is that before their healing could begin, that was the most necessary thing that they needed to do. I also hear things like, the least productive thing I did was beat myself up with guilt and shame rather than beginning to explore answers as to why he did it. That also keeps them from helping their spouse heal. For the unfaithful spouse, I hear things like getting the truth out quicker was necessary before they could begin to heal. I also hear things like, the least productive thing I did was beat myself up with guilt and shame rather than beginning to explore answers to why they did what they did. Another thing is that I could think about was me and how bad I had screwed everything up rather than trying to discover how I'd gotten here in the first place and what I needed to do to keep from repeating my mistakes. And the thing with all that is that it only works, and not very well, mind you, as long as he or she feels that pain. But if he'd begun to explore what was driving them in the first place, they could have cut months off of their recovery. A while back, Affair Recovery conducted a survey about the importance of how to make sure that we're offering what couples need. And the participation of people who follow our organization has benefited others who are trying to recover and find a better life. We're going to be talking about this survey and the results of that over the next couple of weeks. You can review some of the results by reading the link below. And if you're trudging through recovery, it's easy to become discouraged and despair and hopeless, and that you'll never ever feel the hope or joy or peace again. With infidelity-specific help from others who have been there, you can find new life again. I know that. I see it every day and have experienced it myself. And if you'd like guidance in recovery or be able to at least feel hope again, I really would love it if you would just please consider coming to an EMS weekend. We're going to do another one virtually here this coming weekend. And you can find more information about that program under the Programs and Courses tab on the website. So that's it for today. I just thank you again for joining me and spending your time with me. We're going to dive into this a little bit more detail next week. But in the meantime, please stay healthy and let us know what we can do to support you guys. We wish you all the best. Thanks so much.